Golly, Bob, howdy. We're recording again. All right, this is the third installment of how to do some stuff on Java by a person that doesn't know anything about Java. Now, you may think that I'm reading off of some kind of a script, but I'm not. This is a one and done kind of a deal. So this is what you get. What you see is what you get. Here we go. I already explained my setup. I'm sorry about the poor quality of this camera, but this is what I got to work with. Here's where we left off. In the last video, we talked about how to edit, save, compile, and run code in Java. This is the thing that we did that with. So I don't have any if, obviously, I don't have any if statement on here. But I've been talking a lot about this name game folder, and you may be wondering, why is this? What are we talking about? Name game? Why is all this? What is name game? What is that? Okay, well, it's that song. Remember the name game? Na 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 na. Okay, so I'll take you to that. So what we did as a class project was make this big code right here, and it's big like this because I did a lot of copy pasting and all that kind of stuff. Because I don't know about how to do Java stuff and make it look neat. All right, is this one? This one's even more. Look at all of this stuff that I tried to make work here. How many lines of code is this? Look at this. 229 lines of code to make this work. And this is not even, I think this is not even the one that I turned in, or maybe it is. But that's just a lot of cutting and paste. That's just brute forcing it right there, people. Like I just made this thing work. Because it's graded by computer, AI, taking over the world, and I had to just make an output. Okay, so speaking of making output, let's do what we're not supposed to do. Terminal, new terminal. We in the correct thing, blah, 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 name game. That's the folder that we're in. Name game .java is the name of this thing. What? Java C. Name game. This Java stuff with all this upper and lowercase naming stuff that is really irritating. I don't know why they adopted that as a convention for Java people to upper and lowercase all the time instead of like the Python people use the what is this thing called? I'm typing it right there, the underneath line. That's way better to me. I don't like all this upper and lowercase baloney. I'm not an expert on keyboard. Java C, name game.java. Click. Didn't do anything. Yes, it did. Java, name game. Spelled it right. Click. The name game. Come on, everybody. I said, now let's play a game. It's got that lady from that show. American Psycho. No, that's a different show. What is your name? My name is Waylon. Click. Okay, here is your rhyme. Waylon, Waylon, Bobalon, Banana, Fana, Fophalon, Fee-Fi, Mo, Malin, Waylon. I did not realize that the lady in the song was putting an M on that last thing until I had to do this project. So anyway, it worked. Thank you for playing. Waylon, that's my name. It did it. Why did I explain all this to you? Because this thing used a bunch of if statements because that's all I knew how to do to make this thing work. And I'm going to talk to you about if statements is the point of this video. And good thing that it's only got to be 2 minutes long because I know about 2 minutes worth of stuff to talk about on if statement. You probably, if you've watched either of the other two videos on the subject, you know that's probably not true because I talked for 10 minutes about nothing. So I'll probably be able to talk for 10 minutes about if statements. Okay, here we go. If. So it does exactly what you think that it sounds like it's going to do. If something, then do something else. Like you tell the computer, if this thing, then do this thing. All right. So we're not going to go into what all of these things are on this video, string name, string, all of these variables that I like to name all. I like to name all of my variables and stuff and get that stuff all set up at the very top of the thing. That way it's not all mixed up inside of the code. Now, it's funny, I think that my instructor in this class said that he likes to name his and call his and all that down in the code, and that is not going to work for me because that doesn't work for me. I don't like that. I like for all of that crap to be up here at the top. I want all of the variable names to already be created and made up and all that waiting up here at the top. And that way I don't have to get down into the middle of the code and go, oh, I need a variable. Let me just make it right here. X equals 2, and then go down and blah, blah, blah. I want X to equal 2 up at the very top. That way I can use X anywhere I want to. Down here, I don't have to worry about what. All right. If is what we're talking about. If statements. Look right here. If you can see this mouse, thing, if. So you have to do some interpretation of all of my baloney here because this says name double dot equals A. So if name double dot equals A, what is this? So name double is a variable. If you come up here at the top, you can see string, where is it? Name double right there. So you are creating a variable that is a type string. It's trying to tell you right there. Hold still. Okay. The string class represents character strings. That means if you're using letters and want it to be letters and come out as letters, then you make it a string. Okay. So I created a variable string called name double because that's what I wanted to call it, because you can call it whatever you want. And then down here, now I don't know why this is, but when you're using a string, instead of using two equal signs like you would in some other programming thing for equals, for it to say, look at this thing and see if it equals this other thing. Like if I said name double, is there somewhere that I can type this in where you can see it down here at the bottom? No, because it's 200 lines long. But if I would have said name double equal, here, look, I can comment it out. I can just say, see, look, that's how you make a comment on this thing. And I'll put some spaces in there so it's not all bunched up with this other baloney. Name DBL is name double equals. That means it's looking to see if name double is the same thing as, and then you got to say, you got to put quotation marks around it because you're telling it that it's a string looking at a string. That way it knows that it's the two type of thing looking at the other thing. So they said to me, if you do name double equals A, that is problematic for a string. I don't have to delete this because I commented it out. So that's not going to goof up the whole thing that I've created here. All right, if name double equals, okay, so long story short, if it's a string, you got to use dot equals. Okay, I don't know. I'm surprised that it's not got an EQ, and then a capital U, and then a lowercase ALS, because it's Java and they love to do all that up and down below it. Name double dot equals if name double dot equals A. Or these two bars right here is an or instead of typing like on Python, where now I'm not a Python expert either, but I've had to use it for several classes, so I know a little bit about it. So instead of typing or like you would on something else, you use these two bars, bop, bop. It's the thing above the enter key that I've never used it before in my life. It also has, if you don't hit shift, it has this, which I don't know what the point of that one is. I've used the other one for something else, but anyway, regardless of all that, if name double equals to this. All right, that's the first condition that it's looking at. So this variable name double, which name double. All right, so you start up here at the top. Name double is a string. This is where we create the variable. So on Java, you have to create the variable. Sorry, choking. You have to create the variable, but it's just blank. It doesn't have a value assigned to it yet. And then you come down here and you say name double equals something else. And I don't know why it does it like this. This seems like you could just go string. Why do you even have to tell it this? String name double equals this. And I think that you could do all that in one line, but for some reason you can also do it like this, which is more aggravating because it takes up twice as many lines. That's why this thing is 200 and something lines long. Okay. String name double. This is what created it. You put this thing on the end of it, semicolon, and that tells Java that you're done and it can move to the next line. If you don't put that, then it causes a big problem. String name double. You created the variable right there. Then name double is related to another variable. So name double equals name cap dot substring 1, 2. Okay, so what is name cap? Okay, then you go back up here and you say, okay, it's a string because it says string name cap. Got that thing, it's good. Then you come down here, you say name cap equals name dot to uppercase. So it's a variable calling the three other variables in a row. Okay, so name cap equals name dot to uppercase. So what is name? Name, okay, back up here at the top. String, it's a string. Name, thing, it's good. Name equals scan.next. Okay. So instead of saying input or something like that, it's name equals scan.next. So what is scan.next? Scan is the input from the user. So you have to set all of that baloney up. You print out all this stuff. See, print, 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 print. And then it takes the next input from the user into this variable that's called name. So name, I sometimes I wish that this pop-up stuff would quit doing this, but I don't know how to turn it off, because if I turn it off, then it may mess something else up that I do not know how to get back on. And I want, like I was saying about the sys out, I want that to continue to do that by itself, because I hate to type out 400 characters every time I get ready to do anything. If it'll do it by itself, then I'll let it do it by itself. Okay, name equals scan.next. So that's when the thing asks you what your name is. I ran the code, you saw what it did. It said the name, this is how it's going to go right here, the name game. Come on, everybody, let's play a game. Bet you blah, 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 blah. Then you put an input, you tell it, because it's asked you right here, what is your name? Then you type in your name, and it stores that into this variable called name. All right. But you know how these computer programs are. If I type it all caps versus all lowercase versus a capital letter at the front and then lowercase, or lowercase and then a capital letter at the end, it can goof it all up. So you convert the inputted name into all caps, which is what this does right here. Name cap equals name dot to uppercase. See, lowercase, lowercase, uppercase, lower, 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 upper. They do this to confuse the crap out of you. All right, so name is your name that it got from the scanner. Then name cap is name converted to uppercase. So that's name cap. So name cap is just to uppercase. Name double is name cap dot substring 1 2. So this thing starts counting. So this is substring, means it's counting the length of your name in characters. It starts on 0. It does not start on 1. So substring 1 2 is from the second character to the third character. So it needed all of this to tell if it starts with a double consonant. See, I put this note right here that tells you this is how I'm checking to see if the name starts with a double consonant, because this little game is different if your name starts with a double consonant. Like what? Oh, Thomas was the one that would really get you. Okay, anyway, so if your name double equals A. So if the third character of your name is a vowel, which you see I have all the vowels listed out here. And now somebody that really knows something about Java may say, well, that was dumb that you did it like that, but that's how I knew how to do it. And I turned it in and I got full credit. So it worked. It doesn't matter. It could have been 1,000 lines long, as when I put it in the AI grader and it ran it and it said, hey, you did right. It output the thing that we wanted it to output. You get full credit. Boom, done. Because it's all copy and paste anyway. It doesn't cost me any money. If it's 1,000, if it's 10 lines or 1,000 lines, it does not cost me any more money, because I just go Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V. That's all I got to do. I don't have to do all of this fancy stuff that I don't want to do anyway. Spend hours looking at YouTube on how to figure that out, which is what you're doing right now, I guess, because you're watching this on YouTube. All right, here we go. Name double equals this, or name double equals that, or. So you can tell it all these or things. So it's checking to see if the variable that I've created, looking for the third character of your name, is a vowel. It looks and see, is it an A? No. Okay. Is it an E? No. Okay. Da, 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 da. It checks all of that stuff. So if it's a vowel, then I put a Boolean in here. So okay equals false. So if okay, back up to the top here. Boolean, so you have to tell it that it's a Boolean, that the variable that I've created here called okay, which is one I use all the time. Boolean, okay, it's a Boolean. That's what it's telling it. Then the default value of this Boolean, okay, is going to equal to true. You can only have two values. It's either true or false on a Boolean. That's the way it works. It's either on or off, true, false. Okay, so you set it to true, stock, standard from the factory, true. If it's a vowel, then it goes to false, and then that changes everything else in the world. Okay, so this thing continues on down here. But so this name game thing, obviously I didn't think of this right when he started explaining how this name game thing works. It didn't automatically come to me that there's some names that would make a bad name, because it takes the first letter off. So if somebody says, like somebody in class says, oh, my brother's name is Tucker, can you do it with Tucker? Well, apparently it will make a really bad name if your name ends with UCKER, because the second line of the thing changes the first letter to an F. So then it would be F-U-C-K-E-R. How that works? You can't say that in class. It's a bad word. So if this other variable that I created, the last part of your name equals ucker, then it says, oh, we're sorry, you can't play this game. And then it prints out this, the 007 here, James Bond, is a little beep. It makes your computer make a beep sound. So if this variable that equates to the last piece of your name equals this, then the thing says, it prints out this, howdy, name that makes a bad word. We're sorry, but you can't play this game. Beep. That's what it does. So if your name equals that, it does that. So I had to do the same thing for, why did I do it for two things? See, look here, I got so busy copy pasting, I put the same exact thing in there twice. So I didn't probably need this one. I'm not going to change it right now. It's fine. You can have, if it, you know, whatever. And then I commented this for bad words, okay, so this is like an if inside of an if. I don't know if you can tell that, if that's the way that this thing works or not, but I think it's not necessarily the tabbing over, it's these curly brackets. The curly bracket is the key to this whole thing. The curly bracket is what opens and closes this thing. So like this curly bracket right here opened it, and then, is that the one that closed it? That can't be right. Oh yeah, because all that did, so all that this if statement does right here is change this Boolean, because I closed it right there. So I don't know why I have these tabbed over, but they could probably in actuality be back here on this same line as this, because they're not inside of this if statement anyway, because of this curly bracket right here. So I guess that's another thing you can learn about if statements is you type out the if, then you put your condition inside of parentheses, and then after the parentheses, then you have to open the curly bracket, and then you close a curly bracket, and that everything inside of the curly brackets is what the if statement does. Got it? So this if statement, all it does was it said, sorry, Copenhagen's choking me. If this is this, then it changes this Boolean to false. That's all that if statement right there does. Okay? Done. Moves on to the next thing. Then it says if your name equals the ucker, then I told you what that does. Okay, so all these are playing with, they're looking at the same variable. So then you go to the else if. Okay, so it says if the last part of your name is this, then it does this. Okay, but what if it's not? But what if it's still a bad word? Okay, then you use the else. So else if the last part of your name ends in ITCH, you know, the first part of the rhyme is it changes it to a B. So if your name was Mitch, then the first line would change the M to a B, and then that is a bad word, unless you work for the American Kennel Club or something, and then you get to say it all the time, and everybody thinks that it's all cool, except it's a bad word, and you're saying it, and we're not going to say it on here because it's children for watching this. Okay, so if your name ends with itch, then howdy, you can't play this game because it makes a bad word, and then it puts out the little beep. This 007 means beep. Does it, like I said, I did it twice for that. Okay, then another else if, for if your name ends with art or arty, because see, look, I commented it right here because that makes a fart, because the second line in the song changes that if it was Marty, then it would change the M to an F, and that would be farty. And then, oh, this can be embarrassing. Are you sure you want to be embarrassed if your name has a fart in it? Okay. If your name is Marty, then you probably heard that before. There you go. So if the ending party, all of this is getting the ending part of your name. That's the point of this. If the ending part of your name is Art or Artie, then it says, do you want to do all this? And okay, and then I have another if statement inside of the first if statement. So this is a way that you can just have blah, 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 blah. I guess you could have an infinite number of if statements inside of if statements. If it ends with Artie, then, because you asked them a question, because see right here, you said, are you sure? Do you want to continue on? Then you have to do another, oh, look, I did the thing that I hate right there. I created a variable inside of the if statement. So I said, okay, I got to make a new variable, because when I was coding this, because I'm not an expert at this, I said, dang, I got to have a variable right here. So string answer thing, answer equals the next scan, which that means the next thing that the person types in is what this variable is equal to. So answer, the variable answer will equal the next thing that somebody types in. Okay, so then, and then I changed it to uppercase because you want it to be all the same. Everything wants to be all cool. Somebody could have typed in a capital Y lowercase es or a lowercase y capital es. Who knows what they could have typed in? Whatever, it changes it to all the same. So answer equals answer dot to uppercase, upper and lower mixed all around right there. It makes you crazy. All right. So if answer equals yes, then you go ahead and do it. And you do the same. This is the code that does the actual rhyme. So that's an if statement also. So if the name starts with B, okay, because it makes a difference on the if your name actually starts with a B, F, or an M, then they play the game out differently, right? Like my name starts with a W, it doesn't matter, it's the same. All right, but if your name starts with a B, then the difference is, see right here, it doesn't put a B on the last piece of your name. It still puts an F and an M, but it doesn't put a B because it changes it. So we'll try it. I'll try it with the name maybe when I get down to the end. But you say if the name starts with a B, then you do all this stuff. Okay. Else if, so if it doesn't start with a B, but if it starts with an F, then you do all this stuff. Okay. If it doesn't start with a B or an F, but it starts with an M, so else if M, then it does all this stuff, right? And if it doesn't have any of these three conditions, then you get down to the last else, and there's no if. So you see, there's no if, so there's no condition there. And so if it's not one of these three things, then boom, it's defaulted to this thing, and that's the one that it's going to do. If it's not one of these three things, got it? All right. So then paying attention to these curly brackets, you got to, now they put these different colors, so the colors kind of coordinate. You got to coordinate. So this yellow one here is the initial if. See, it's on this tab line. They put these lines so you can keep everything, whatever. Colors, lines, if, curly bracket, that's where it starts. Then you go through all of this baloney here. Okay, same color of curly bracket, that's where it ends. That's the closing of this if statement. Okay, then this else is on a different, it's outside of this if statement. So all it does is system.exit. Why does it do that? Because that's if you would have said, no, your name is Marty, and the program tells you, hey, this is going to make a fart with your name. Do you want to play? And you say, oh no, I don't want to do that. So then it goes, okay, then else, pop, boom, out. All right. All right, there's a whole bunch of more of these. All right, y'all want to see it go again? Let's do it the way I'm supposed to. Turn on. Click. And remember, in one of these other videos, I showed that it'll continue on up until infinity from all the things that you've ever typed in here. Apparently, this is up arrow on the keyboard, so up arrow on the keyboard. Name game. That's the last thing. You don't want that. Well, we could do that because I didn't change it, so you don't have to compile it again because I didn't change it. So just hit that. Pow. It works. Here's the game. So what's your name? Marty. Oh, are you sure you want to play? Because, I'll say yes. Yes. Oh, here's your rhyme. Marty, Marty, Bo, Marty, banana, fana, fo, farty. Ooh, it's too farty. P5, Mo, Marty, Marty. There you go. Boom. Did it. Got it? That's how the game works. That's the song. It's on YouTube. Google it and find it. Whatever. However, YouTube it. However that works. It's still search for it. I hit do it again. What's another game? What's another name that I wanted to make an example of? Lana was the name on the video. Lana, Bobana, Banana, Fana, Fo, Fana, Fee, Five, Mo, Mana, Lana, whatever. That's how it works. Did the whole thing with else if statements because I don't know how to do anything else. That's what I did. There you go. Ask me no questions. I'll tell you no lies. See you next time.